Today we're here with Holger from Viniculture, and we're going to be discussing a Pet Nat and tasting a selection of Pet Nats.
So, let's start with, what the hell is a Pet Nat?
Pet Nat, short for Pétillant Naturel, obviously French words, but a certain style of sparkling wine. The simplest way to think about it is during fermentation, obviously we have all of the yeast being eaten up, the yeast eating up the sugar, turning the wine into alcohol gradually. And before this process finishes, we remove the wine from whatever vessel it's in and pop it into bottle, and it finishes its fermentation in bottle under like a crown cap, like a beer top, and that keeps all of the CO2 that would usually escape into the air, leaves it in the bottle and it dissolves into the wine. So it's sort of a natural occurring sparkling in a way, but one single fermentation finishing in bottle, basically.
Also known as méthode ancestrale?
Yes.
So with the Pet Nats, you never know if it's disgorged or not.
Yeah.
You know?
And the same with méthode
So the
ancestrale.
problem is if you don't disgorge it, then it can be quite wired. So,
Okay.
you know, sometimes a third of the bottle is going, you know,
Right.
just like this away, which is a little bit of a problem in restaurants or private. So sometimes it's disgorged to have not that wild foam, you know, not to have these wild bubbles.
Right.
But you don't know it actually. So the old way of Pétillant Naturel was, like Emily said, you just put the wine during fermentation with a particular amount of remaining sugar in the bottle, and then it gets more or less dry, full dry or off dry or whatever. So sometimes with this one, Moussamoussettes, for example, there's some sweetness. Sometimes it's dry. So it depends how far it's going.
But yeah, on the point that you said before, the thing that's quite, I guess, the skill with making a Pet Nat is knowing when to take it out of tank or barrel or whatever vessel it's in and moving it into the bottle at the right time. Because what's so difficult is if you do it too late, obviously all of it, the sugar ferments.
You've got no bubble.
And there's no bubble, which has happened often where we've tried wines that you've bought and some are sparkling, some aren't sparkling. And then on the flip side,
Too much gas.
or too much sugar, and then like you lose half the bottle as well because it's like exploding.
Right.
Which is frustrating, but
Yeah.
So I think there is a skill, and somebody's got to know and be experienced in what they're doing to be able to do it well.
I think it was an idea for a wine producer to have his own sparkling wine without this long time.
Right.
You know, normally for good fine sparkling wine you need 12 months, 15 or years. And with a Pet Nat, you just put it in a bottle, you wait until it's fermented, then you wait a little longer months, and then you put it on the market. So it's quite easy done.
Yeah.
So this is, I think it's really coming from this very basic rural winemaking point, and it's now just within the last few years where it gets a name as a natural
it's a
wine.
really important. I think I think for me, if I go out, often it's a style that I look for because it's so easy to drink. It's not too complicated. Sometimes you don't always feel like champagne. Sometimes you feel like something that's like, it's got some sparkle, it's not as sparkling as champagne, it's not too complex, and it's just like, it's a little bit like the smashable wines we were talking about. It's like, this is stuff I want to drink and keep drinking.
It is definitely something I gravitate towards, also because the bubbles tend to be finer. It's not as fizzy, so you don't feel as gassy after drinking a whole lot of it.
This should overtake Prosecco.
Well, I think,
Because you don't have this sugar.
Right.
And you've got, a lot of the time, people who are making Pet Nats, it's not too commercial.
I think there are also so many varieties of Pet Nat instead of having, you know, when you think of Cava or Prosecco or Champagne, there's sort of a box that it has to exist in. And with Pet Nat, it can go anywhere. It can be pretty much any color. It can be anything.
And you, as a winemaker, you don't have to wait so long. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
You really want to do a fine sparkling wine like Pinet, Cremant, you need to wait 15 months, 18 months, 24 months. So it's a long time.
Yeah, and it keeps the price down.
Yes, and a lot of the young guys doing natural wine today, they just can't allow to wait 2 years for the money to come in.
So the first one we're having is...
Giachino. Giac'bulles.
It's not
from
Gaillac.
Giachino.
Could be Gaillac.
No, but it's not from Gaillac. It's from Savoie.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
The first wine that we're tasting is Gwen bought it, and it's from, I think it's Giachino, Giac'bulles, from Savoie, which I believe is it 100% Jacquer, or I think this is 100% Jacquer, which is a great variety indigenous to the Savoie.
It smells like pears. It's like a pear drop. Delicious.
So 100% Jacquer, which is a great variety indigenous to Savoie. 7 months aging in the bottle.
Yeah, 7 months. Like they disgorge it, filter it, and then put it back in the bottles.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
So Giachino, still quite a small producer. I guess they're sort of coming up in the natty wine world for a while now. I've never tried a red wine from them, but
I've only had whites from them.
Yeah, whites. Pet Nat, they might make a red. What else do we know about this?
It's Savoy, yeah.
Savoie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Super light in alcohol, 9%.
There's some sweetness.
Yep.
I would say like 20 grams, maybe.
20?
But it has a particular taste, you know. Pear is right,
Pear
as well something nutty again.
I think the nutty
hazelnutty,
the hazelnut note is actually quite nice because it balances
the
sugar
sweet,
and the sweetness. But you know what? This if I had friends coming over for a barbecue
or for a brunch.
Yes.
or for a brunch,
You know, I love a brunch bubble. We're back.
Yeah.
You and me are thinking
I
the same
hate
way on the
brunch.
brunch
I hate
bubble.
brunch.
we need to do that brunch
Bubbles.
breakfast.
We were just talking about breakfast wine.
Normally, brunch means different kind of food. Most of them really not nice.
I mean,
big plates with everything on it.
To me, brunch just means I was too hungover and I got up too late for breakfast, so now I'm having breakfast when I got up. I mean, that's what brunch means to me.
There might be good brunch, but I just know most of the
Terrible brunch.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, I think that was a good one to start with because it's quite sweet.
Yeah.
And I think we're moving on to things that have a little more... We have the Moussamoussettes.
I don't know. You know these ones better. So
So we start with a big bottle. Oh, this is quite heavy.
Hyper Modeste.
Hyper Modeste, yeah. So you're French.
What a name!
What does it mean? Fait péter? What does it mean?
Fait péter, wow. Hang
it's
on a
rude or
second.
what?
It might be, yeah. You have to remember, I speak a French dialect, but I'm pretty sure that's... I'm going to Google it to be sure. But
could be.
I think it might be a double entendre a little bit.
So it's a little bit, how do you say?
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek.
Dodgy.
Yeah.
Fait péter, it means...
To fork over.
What does it mean, to fork over?
Slang, to fork over? I don't know.
That's why I was like, it's a slang word that I'm not super...
Okay.
But then it says to make a fart.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
péter
it's...
is like farting.
okay.
That's why I was like, I'm not sure how to...
Okay, so it's
To
a little
produce
bit...
a fart, so it's like a little fart.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So
it also
sometimes
means something else, like...
Sometimes the wines are tasting like this on the first side. Really?
Yeah, no.
Let's say it clear.
No, but I also think that fait
It's,
péter can also mean
know.
something else. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
like kick
This
off,
is a-
like
Okay.
have it kick off, like...
But
Okay.
This is an organic taste
it-
as well.
Get it started.
Sort of,
Get
maybe.
it farted, get it started.
Please, actual French people, feel free to message us with your...
Understanding of fait péter.
So
Maybe
please.
in my Quebecois-ness,
So the next
in
one.
Englishness,
So just to say that again, so it's Hyper Modeste.
which I think is great.
Is that the full name? So Hyper Modeste from Carina Guillaume Lefebvre.
Lefebvre, yeah, it's Provence. It's a Demeter Provence producer.
Cool.
And you know maybe the white, the red, the pomponette and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
This is the same producer.
Okay.
And actually it's a young couple and it's a really nice winery. And they do now Vermentino and Grenache, Mourvèdre. So this one is a pure Vermentino, 100%.
Vermentino.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you see it's a little bit cloudy.
Which is not so common either to find full Vermentino.
No.
Which are they calling it Vermentino or are they calling it
No, they call it Vermentino.
Okay.
And actually the clones are from Mr. Abatucci from Corsica, which are friends of him, of the family. And yeah.
I love those Abatucci wines. Vermentino is another great variety. I think we often skirt over a little bit.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so
go on then.
No, but I think it's. Oh god.
So this is quite dry, huh?
Yeah, I think but I think Vermentino in general it can be really fruity, sometimes too fruity, but it's quite nice. It's got this lovely peachy, slightly floral. Nice, yeah. I think Vermentino for like an Albarino drinker is a nice alternative when it comes from a good producer on good soil, where it's got this mineral edge to it, which I think this is really nice.
Lovely, yeah.
Any residual sugar in this wine?
I don't taste it. No, I think it's got very dry.
It smells like tinned peaches to me.
Yeah, it's really totally
my childhood of
fruit
tinned
cocktail.
fruit. Thank you, Mum, for feeding me. No.
Del Monte fruit cocktail.
Yeah.
What I can say, it's quite mouth-watering, you know.
Yes, I want to drink more of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm drinking today because I'm on holiday for the next week. So.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
It's really nice, the fruit, but then this lovely, like, very super, super fresh. Like, I imagine being in the seas drinking this.
What?
I'm on the beach. I'm in Sevilla. I'm going to the sea.
That's where I'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Laying in the pool in Sevilla.
Drinking this. This is very nice. Where does it fit price point wise in the shop? How much? This is a Magnum, so.
I think the Magnum is around 30, beginning 30.
That's really good.
32 or so.
Yeah.
It's a nice, easy way to kick off an evening with that. Lovely.
Yeah.
Ease into an evening.
I'd love to have a bottle of this when friends come round.
Yeah, me too. It's like the perfect come over. Okay,
Can you imagine? I think just the two of us.
I think we could.
Yeah.
Just don't invite any other friends.
No, exactly.
Get your boyfriend on the barbecue cooking, and we'll just.
He doesn't even like fizz, so it's perfect. We don't have to share with him. He can have his own.
Yeah.
You have a
He's
beer.
a red wine guy, or?
He just doesn't love it. He's Austrian. He loves a Gruner Veltliner. You know?
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll go.
He's Austrian, it's hard. Yeah,
Yeah, they're very particular.
yeah. They like their wines.
They love their wine. I mean, they have good wines.
Yeah, and it's a small country, so they have to, you know.
Hold it dear.
Yeah.
Well, that's
good.
great.
I wouldn't have to share with them.
No, we just two Magnums, two people.
Yeah, perfect. Next week when I'm back.
Responsible drinking.
Yeah. I'll feed you. It's all right. Cool. Anything else you'd like to say about this one in particular?
It's a wine that actually makes you want to just drink.
Just drinking. Yeah.
I think they make really nice wines, and they're getting better with every vintage. You know, they have white and reds, which they release at a late point. Now we have the Lais Rouge 2014, which is really nice. And the whites as well, and they are all non-sulfate now. So it's really good producer to watch out.
Yeah, very nice.
It's a dangerous wine.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I realize as well it's getting into, you know, very quickly.
Yeah.
With the bubbles you're drunk quicker.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible.
I'm really sad that I'm gonna have to go soon. I'm gonna end up leaving Emily with the rest of the sparklings.
So we
What is
taste
next?
the
That's
Moussamoussettes.
So the next one is Moussamoussettes
I'm
from
gonna take a tiny sip.
Agnes and Rene Mosse. So Moussamoussettes by Rene and
Yeah.
Agnes and Rene Mosse. What was the vintage for this?
I think there's no vintage. We have to look at the number. It's 16 as a lot number, so I would say this is from wines from 16, and should be in the bottle maybe for 12 months or so. And you see there's, it's typical for Pet Nat, there's some cloudiness.
And some sediment.
Some sediments, yeah. And this one could be whinstone as well. Wine diamond, how do you think in England?
Tartrates.
Yeah, tartrates.
Oh, that's so nice, the German translation. Wine diamonds. We should call it wine diamonds.
No.
Okay.
I thought it would be the English term.
Oh, okay.
Weinstein, it's a German.
Weinstone.
Stone, yeah.
Less glamorous.
Yeah.
It's still...
I think
some of
that's
those
this
Weinstones
English
inside.
sommelier speak wine diamonds.
I mean,
I think
I'm
we
going
should
to call it from now on wine diamonds.
Let's do it. We should do an episode on just wines with wine diamonds.
Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
Wine with diamonds.
I wish I could stay, but I really have to run. So I'm going to leave this. I'm handing over the headphones to Emily.
Okay.
I'm going to leave. And thank you for having me.
Good luck with your nails, Gwen. That's staying in.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Toodles. So, Moussamoussettes, Rene Mosse. What can you tell us about this?
I think this is the first, when I first had it, we were not sure because the first vintage we had was a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
And so you never know. Sometimes it's sweet, sometimes it's off dry. I think there's a little bit of, I would have to look, but I think there's a little bit of Cabernet Franc, Pinot d'Aunis, maybe Gamay as well. Mm-hmm. And but at the end, it's a more consistent Pet Nat than others, you know. Sometimes we have Pet Nats which are nearly non-sparkling. This is always nice sparkling, you know. And
you mean what, consistent in terms of the bubbles that it has every year?
Yeah,
okay.
Bubbles and as well the
style,
direction, the style. You know, this is not never too fruity, not too much on the red berry side. So it's more easier to know what's in the bottle without tasting. Customers as well. So sometimes you have Pet Nats which are really, really different, and sometimes with off flavors. And the point is, with the CO2, you get the flavors, even the off flavors as well, very directly.
Yeah,
that's the point. So it's a little bit.
I think what's interesting about this particular category, which we haven't discussed, is the fact that often we assume to have it earlier on. So we talked about breakfast, brunch, which it's perfect for. But actually, I find that sometimes if I've been like dinner, had a lot to drink, had a lot to eat, sometimes your palate and everything feels a little bit tired. But sometimes a way to continue on the night is actually to freshen things up with something like this that's light. There's still some nice fruit there, but it's not super sweet. It's almost like digestive in that way of like a tonic of like, okay, now we can reset.
You know, what I like here is the food is really in the background. And it's... you could say even elegant. It's fine. There's a little hint of tannin, so I think it's very reliable.
Yeah, and I see a line between this and the wine before in terms of there's some fruit there that makes it appealing. That it doesn't feel super dry, but it is dry. Yeah. It's very refreshing. Yeah, that you don't feel like. For my personal taste, maybe the Giachino, after a few bottles, it would get too sweet for me. It's like I can't drink.
Yeah,
Prosecco,
I think
for example.
This is perfect for light desserts, maybe. Yeah, and as well.
Yeah, fruit desserts.
Or for brunch time. When it's lunchtime. So
agreed. Very nice. It's delicious.
So sometimes when there is some sugar, it's the same with the off-dry white wines from Mosse. It's always very well integrated, so you don't. It's not disturbing the taste. It's part of the taste, and so they really know how to build in the sugar with the whole idea of the wine or the sparkling wine. So it's never just a sweet taste which sends besides. So it's always going very well together with the wine.
No, very, very nice.
So which do you like more, or do you think they're just different?
They are just different. I think Moussamoussettes is maybe a little bit more... I think I feel a little bit more loyal to Moussamoussettes because I've been following it for a few years. Yeah. That I have like a little soft space in my heart for it. But I actually... That Magnum's quite dangerous. Like I think I would drink a lot more of that.
Yes, I think Yeah.
In
a way, it's even more mouth-watering. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to try it again? If you have a group of people together, Magnums, to be able to get people to taste in Magnum and drink in Magnum.
Yeah. I think it's always nice to bring a Magnum,
Yeah.
to a party.
Especially if you're more than like 4 to 6 people.
Yeah.
Like for my birthday, 2 years ago, I went to Noble Rock for dinner, and we were like 15 people. And we all bought our own wine, so we all had to bring a minimum of 2 bottles each. Yeah. But it actually, with that amount of people, and we had single bottles, it was actually really irresponsible of all of us, because we ended up like shotting wine, because you didn't even have a full, like you had half a glass each. So you'd have like 2 good tastes, and then it would be like, okay, what's the next bottle? So we ended up drinking really quickly and actually not really appreciating and enjoying the wines.
I think the dangerous thing is when you just, everybody brings a bottle, you open a lot of bottles, I know that, and then, you know, you get a shot from every side. So you don't really know the quantity, what you drink.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the glass is never full. We don't do that between wine people.
Yeah.
But it's always filled up.
Yeah.
At the end, and with a sparkling wine, you have to be it's good. I already know it now, or feel it now. It's getting quick. It's it's like a drug. It's going into the blood, and it's very, it's dangerous. But I think that's why it's so liked, you know, because it's quick. And that's why maybe a point why it's so beloved as an aperitif. You know, when you don't know, if you have different people for your wedding or whatever, and then, you know, people don't know each other, and with this sparkling wine, it gets very quick.
Isn't it?
It's lively.
To help you relax.
Yes, and to maybe to speak with somebody you don't know. That's a point.
I think also, it's the sound of the bottle, isn't it, and seeing the bubbles, and it's so bizarre because I think it's maybe almost a primal thing of like, why do we get so excited by sparkling wine?
I think it's the bubbles, it's the festivity, you know. I think it's opened mostly on special moments.
Yeah.
So
that's cultural tradition more than anything, rather than the wine itself. It's what we associate with sparkling wine that makes us maybe
it makes the situation special, even if it's not, you know. So with a sparkle, you put some sparkle into your event or into maybe just a normal evening, you know. And but it would be interesting to look further behind why it has to be mostly sparkling at the beginning. I think it's maybe maybe it's really to break quickly the border between people. You know, because with the CO2 you have to get
there's
more.
A theatre as well, isn't there, of actually opening the wine. It's much more exciting to watch the popping of the cork, or if you want to sabre a bottle. There's like a theatre and a showmanship about it, and everybody can look at it as more of a spectacle. Which maybe makes it also feel more special because of that. Because everybody watches, like I know even in a restaurant, when I sell wine to people and I'm opening bottles of wine, usually if it's a bottle of still wine, nobody's really watching you open it the whole way.
Or
maybe
sherry. Nobody's interested in sherry.
Yeah, and you're just pulling it out. And then when it comes to sparkling wine and you have to remove the cork, everybody's like, is it going to overflow? What's going on?
Yeah, you know? Of course,
There's an excitement.
Yeah, and you see when you have a race, one race, it's always a big bottle of sparkling wine, champagne or whatever. But what you really could do is, or could try, what we do sometimes here, if you have a good aged dry sherry, to mix it with a bubbly, that's perfect. You take a dry Amontillado, dry Oloroso, or even a dry Manzanilla Passada together. With these sparkling wines, it goes so well together.
I can imagine, like, particularly, do you do that with champagne or like any sparkling?
Yes, I wouldn't do that with a very good old vintage Beaufort champagne. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but like a non-vintage from somebody.
If you take a straight cava, for example, which is very good, but I think together what they have is the contact with the yeast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This umami.
So well together.
Yeah.
So we often do that. If you have a clean a sparkling wine, and then we put a little bit of Oloroso to it, it's perfect. It's go.
Yeah,
it's a little bit. It pushes up. Anyway, I think in the next year, sommeliers will start to mix wines.
Well, that's already happening.
Yeah, but even more. Without prediction, so they are less anxious about it, and they don't have to keep the image. So it's their own decision.
I think, like, I was a bit like, I went to a restaurant in Melbourne. I used to work at Attica, and I went there and I went there for dinner in January, and they mixed sake with Riesling, but it was like a really high quality sake with a bit of an average Riesling, but concept of it I loved, because I was like, oh, that's really interesting, because I've actually when you have like Junmai Daiginjo sake, there are similar profiles and flavour elements that are similar to Riesling. So I was like, on paper, that sounds great. But they like poured the sake at the table into the glass, and then they poured the Riesling into the glass after. So there was no sort of like proper measurement of it. Yeah. And that was a bit like, I'm paying so much money for this, I'm not down with it.
And it seems a little bit, if you have a really good Riesling or a really good sake.
The sake was so good that I would have preferred the sake alone.
Yes. If you have very good products, I wouldn't do that, It's a really special product.
Yeah.
Or specials, maybe like this 57 Garnacha. If you put some cassis liquor in it, I think it wouldn't be...
What's the point?
It wouldn't work, yeah, because this is a rare bottle, and then I wouldn't do that. But sometimes it makes sense, but...
I like the idea of wine cocktails where you're mixing different wines to make a drink. Like I did the Noi Dinners event, and obviously all of the wines and most of the products were coming actually from you and from Viniculture. And it was interesting because it was a case of they needed things with certain sweetness, so some maybe sweet wines are mixed with still wines, or some off-dry sparklings are mixed with dry sparklings. And I thought that was like, there was an element where I thought that's really smart, like that really, really works, particularly for these dishes. Yeah. And I think in that sort of environment, it really works. But they were measured to recipe to go. They weren't just sort of free poured at the table.
And in overall experience, was it too much? The different parts of a dessert, and then at a drink together as well, different wines and sparkling wines together. Was it a little bit too much of impressions?
Well, I didn't get too much feedback on that in particular, or anybody that said that. I don't think anybody found it too much. I would have maybe done like a mixture of drinks, so like they weren't all wine dominant. Like I would have maybe done maybe one actual cocktail with spirits, like for some of it, and also some plain wine as well, because I think there are lots of great wines that work desserts as well. But I think the overall feedback was people really liked the matches. Yeah. So it worked well.
And for Rene Frank, he really thinks about as well.
He's very smart, and he's very considered. So
and as a patissier, you're always used to
combining.
Make things. Yeah. That's it. And he's very accurate, so he really knows what he wants. And I think it's good to respect his decision to have it like this.
I think the positive thing that I think about that was that it really it gave it like a different element of an experience. So I think that was smart.
And it's the way he works in his restaurant as well. So I think it's good.
Yeah, and he is he's like, I was quite impressed with him as a person. Like he's very thought out, and he is caring not just about the food that he's plating, which that is changing in the chef world, but like it's still relatively a new concept that chefs care so much about the drinks and are so involved with the drinks.
And he was,
so
from the beginning like this. He's really, he
wants to create an experience.
Yeah.
But I think that's really good, and it's really important. And that's what we all need to remember when we work in restaurants, is that people come to restaurants for the experience. Yeah. It's an escape often, and and it is an experience. And I think we're all responsible for trying to deliver the best we can to the people that are sitting in front of us, and to make them have a great time.
Of course.
So if we can do that in any which way, and I think that's cool. And it's nice if you can challenge people a little bit, but also make them feel safe and relaxed at the same time. If you can manage that balance, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was amazed how from the beginning, when he opened his restaurant, he really had his clear idea as well on the combining wines, and as well the mixture. So he really he stops when he's 100% sure about the taste.
Yeah.
And it's really sometimes for some people it might be with 6 or 5 courses and 6 or 5 wines, a little bit too much, but he makes it like this, and it's a whole package, and I think it's.
But this is it's
pure, and that's why that's the same with when I talking about the winemakers. He knows what to do. He's still open to every direction, but he has at the same time his own way of doing things.
His own path, yeah.
And this is at the end nothing to do with not only with biodynamics and bio and all this stuff and all, you know, sometimes I have as well customers here which are just coming under this glow of biodynamics, nature, and the dirtier the better. That's not my world. You know, I'm always searching more from the purity of the product and how it's related to the person. So, because with a person I can talk to and I can learn, and that's the most important part for me, or rewarding part. That's what I would say.
Rewarding, yeah.
Yeah, that's one point. So one thing is to sell the wine. That's okay, to sell nice wines, and that's one point. But the rewarding part is if you can learn from somebody, and from somebody's work and how he's doing things. And I think that's, for me, that's more important. Yeah.
I understand that.
So the next and last one will be the, it's a Chenin Blanc, Brutal.
Yep. So maybe for the podcast, it's worth mentioning Brutal.
Yeah, there's
this is like a Brutal wine, part of the Brutal.
Yeah.
Or
I must say, I'm not sure if it's really so. There.
Well, that's just
I
the name
think
of the wine.
Laureano Serres started together with Jean Ramon Escoda these Brutal things, and there is this Bar Brutal, which is related to a quite bigger importer of natural wines in Barcelona.
Yeah.
I must say, I'm not really sure if it's going into these direction labels Brutal.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It might be, but yeah.
Because the label doesn't show that it's.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
look
a
like
different.
one of the
It's called Brutal.
Babas.
Yeah. The guy is actually called Sebastian, but everybody says Babas to him.
Okay.
And he's doing some very nice Chenin Blanc. He's doing some Pinot d'Aunis, some Cabernet, and yeah, this is a rare sparkling wine from him.
I think compared to the wines we had before, a bit more challenging, but
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I think as well you have these.
It's like zero sugar.
This is bone dry.
Yeah.
This is bone dry. And what you can taste here, when you tasted it 1 year before, this one needs some bottle age. You know, even sparkling wine can need some time to find the right expression, the right identity. So this one is much finer now than it was half a year ago.
Yeah, okay.
But of course, there's a little bit stinky, huh?
Yeah, it's slightly reductive. It's got this like singed hair. I've just leaned over the stove to smell whatever I'm cooking and I've caught my hair on fire.
Yeah, this is very dry. It's very light, 10.5. Then again, I think with maybe you could even try it with oysters or so.
I think so. I actually think really clean, pure flavours would be really nice with this wine. And nothing with spice and nothing with too much fruit. Like really pristine, dry food, saline food. Oysters would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oysters would work really well with this wine. If we're in Germany, we're on the Baltic Sea, matches fillet,
Yeah?
matches in Brötchen.
Yeah? I don't know.
Do you reckon?
I don't eat matches, I don't like it.
Okay.
I was brought up
Some
with
pickled fish.
matches which were just from the glass,
Okay.
from the supermarket. So I'm coming not from a fishy area. So what we get on fish was really
Not great
disgusting.
quality.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
it was just in tins. And no, we never. When I was young, we didn't have good fish. That's why until today I don't really. It's
Eat
not
fish.
easy for me to have a fish as a main course.
Even if you were somewhere like in Spain,
Galicia, I do that. You know, I know that it's good, and
yeah,
I push myself into it to taste it. When I see, okay, they have.
it's such a shame though, isn't it, to like
I
spoil your appetite for
I
something.
know that it's good, but it's, you know, when you're brought up or when you're young, you have a different category of product which is not really not good and just of mediocre quality, then it's hard to change it later.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, that's maybe, you know, that from a different direction. But for me, it was the fishy things which was not of good quality.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, and then we have the oil mops from the supermarket, and it's hard to change even when you're getting older. These first years are very important for your how do you vote things. I try it as a professional. I do it, but it's hard for me to have it as a main course.
Thank you, Holger.
Welcome. Thank you.